Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
GearBox version 1.0 finally. So this will be coming out not today, unfortunately, but very soon. And in these versions, you'll see that there is a feature forbid opening trades of correlating pairs. So you can turn the filter on and off. How it will work is if you're already in correlated pairs, it'll continue to manage those trades and sequences on its own. If you are not in correlated pairs, it obviously will not allow them to open at the same time. Now, this data does have to be updated week by week. We actually have to build this file out every single week and upload this to the VPS based on the correlation data, as data does change week by week in correlation. So we'll upload all the correlation data and percents every week to the VPS. And then this file is what tells GearBox what pairs are correlated and which ones aren't. So this is a very advanced feature, something we've been working on for a long period of time. Well, we're very excited to get it out very, very soon. Obviously, it's working. There's just one small intricacy to be able to roll it out to the entire company. And we are working on that with our tech team right now to make sure that it is a smooth rollout when we are ready. But do know that the correlation filter exists and it is done. Now, let's talk about how this week went and get into a little my effects book life. Give me a second. Just pulling up some VPSs so that we can take a look at a few more accounts here. Let's see how we are doing. All right. So we'll see. This is my account that only runs the GBP pairs. As I've mentioned, it's very slow. It doesn't take a lot of trades, but the trades it does take, when it takes them, are phenomenal trades. An example is right now we're in GBP AUD, GBP CAD, and I mean, if we were even take a look at the ghost gears on GBP NZD, I mean, technically GBP NZD is in both buys and sells right now on the ghost server, which is pretty cool. That's obviously happens with the 1 hour chart. As we've mentioned, the 1 hour chart is going to always be less accurate than the 4 of the daily because it does play both sides of the market sometimes, as you see it's doing here. But the point is, this account does what it needs to do. It makes its few percent a month with low risk and drawdown, but it barely takes any trades. Some people are, yep, I'll get into that. Reading the chats. Okay, so let's get into that. That account's doing what it needs to do. Let's take a look at how the smaller account's performing. It's in some drawdown, nothing to fret. It's actually made some money this week, so its weekly floating is low. Let's go to my FX book. So one thing I do know is this week has been one of those weeks where people have gotten into, a new set of swing trades or a little bit deeper into some drawdown. If you're running the 19 pair, 25 pair strategy, whatever you're doing, a great example is going to be my 10K account. You can see crushing it, crushing it, crushing it, got out of drawdown, and then we just got right back into drawdown recently. So right now on that account, we are in a little bit of drawdown, $1,600 drawdown on a $14,000 balance. Nothing that I'm not comfortable with, perfectly comfortable with it and understand it. We are waiting for EuroCAD, NZD-CAD, CHF, JPY to swing on this account and doing perfectly fine. So, you know, this is a part of the market. You're going to have times where you get into this nice drawdown here and you have to await the swing, and you can see it happens over and over and over again. This yellow line is every time it gets into drawdown and goes below the balance, right? So no, it is possible. That is continuing to happen. Another account of mine that did the same thing. We'll see. Right here is my $1,500 swing, a little more aggressive account. You know, it got out of its DD. It was cooling it, cooling it, cooling it, doing a great job. Got no drawdown, and then boom, right back in it. So understand that drawdown is a part of it. Patience is a part of it. You need a lot of patience if using GearBox. On the one pair data, if we sort it as normal, as you can see, there's really not much going on. Those accounts aren't really getting into too many trades, right? There's not too much going on that side. Let's take a look at the pairs, how we're looking at. So if we're taking a look at pairs, oops, come back. When we take a look at the pairs here, we can see there's a lot of pairs that are trending. There's no pairs really considered consolidated right now. There's some considered a little random, the most biased, and the truth is, majority right now are trending. All right, I'm gonna get through some Q&A here. I see lots of good questions. So let's start off here. I see Nohelia said, when I manually close a trade, it closes whatever balance I close, but then the same pair and the same level shows up again on my drawdown. Could you explain what happened when the other trades in lower levels I didn't touch? Well, first thing is, Nohelia, you should not close trades unless you're trading closing a whole sequence. So I'll give you an example. Let me find an account here that I want to use. Okay. Let's go to this account. Okay. So here's an example, EuroCAD. You see this trade's $143 positive. Okay, well, I should not close that trade. If you're closing that trade, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, to be absolutely honest with yourself, because it's balancing out all these negative trades that you need to get out of still. So yes, you shouldn't even be closing those trades. First off, if you're going to close a trade, you need to close the trade sequence, every trade associated with that trade, right? You don't just go close one trade individually that's in profit at the bottom of the entire chain. That's how you actually end up losing more money or blowing your account in the future, is doing silly things like that. So make sure if you are closing out trades, you're closing out the entire sequence, not just one trade in a sequence. That's not ideal. Greg, will there be an opportunity in the correlation filter to allow two max correlated pairs? No, there's not going to be any way. You either run the correlation filter or you don't run the correlation filter. All right. Paulo asked about the manager and how he can set the fixed and trailing weekly goal. Well, Paulo, first, all of that's explained in the EA Academy. So if you haven't finished going through the AP Academy, once you finish the AP Academy, you'll get access to the EA Academy. But as for the manager, yes, if you click remove all, on, say gold, that will work. I have a lot of term terminals open on this VPS, so bear with me. We'll just go over to this one. So if you come over to the manager and you click remove all on the charts, yes, it will remove all GearBox charts, and then you can apply a different strategy. I'm not seeing many more questions. Tony Dublin, CAD JPY closing stop loss this week after pending for months. Why? Well, first, Tony, CAD JPY has not been a recommended pair for a little over 2.5 months now. Secondly, when we went back over here and looked, I saw CAD JPY was trending. So if it was trending against you, then yes, a stop loss is possible. That is a part of the game. Hold on, let me find where it is. But yes, stop losses are inevitable. A good example of that. Let's go back to this $1,500 account. Right? This is trading. The reality is there's going to be times you lose money. There's going to be times you make money. So let's take a look. In this case, this account is crushing it. 80%. Took stop losses all the way down to 48. Immediately back up to 66. Got into a drawdown of 38%. Stayed in drawdown for 3 months. 3 months it took to get out of drawdown. Running 6 max pairs. Took those stop losses. Made it all back and more. But let's take it on a month by month look. We came in August. Crushed it 14%, 15%, 11%, 18%. December, super slow. January, we didn't make any money. February, we took a loss. March, we started making money again. April, we're making money again. May has been super slow so far. We've just been in trades and drawdown. That's a part of it. Now, if you're running pairs that are considered to be worst performing pairs, and you didn't cut the losses when they were designated worst performing pairs, and you've just continued to let them get worse, I mean, that was your decision. And yes, JPY pairs, as we've listed, are again the worst performers. I removed them from most of my setups about 2 months ago for that reason, because when they trend, they just trend and they don't tend to show any mercy when it comes to reversals. So I've just removed them. Me and JPY pairs, I had an epiphany that in my 3.5 years, building algos, using algos, trading with algos, that JPY pairs have always been what put the nail in the coffin for a counter trend strategy. So I avoid them like the Black Plague. Nahelia said, are there any things you can recommend that could mitigate high drawdown in our accounts? Well, first, if you're in high drawdown, I'd ask what settings were you using in the first place to get in high drawdown? Because I don't know of anyone in high drawdown with the current conditions. I know some people that have hit a stop loss. I know some people that are in, 20% drawdown, but what is high drawdown and how do you even get in high drawdown is my question. What settings are you running? Einstein settings got you into high drawdown, and 11% isn't high drawdown. 11% is a pretty normal drawdown. And your current settings, I would say to just apply GearBox with precision sniper modes or swing settings with the default settings, and those are the settings you need. Why is Euro JPY still recommended pair on instant entry? Because Euro JPY is the one JPY pair along with CHF JPY that still perform. I mean, they will. Euro, the thing about UJ or EJ here is it has great wins, but once or twice a year, it's going to have its losing months. But its winning months have always made up for its losing months. Whereas pairs like CAD JPY, GBP JPY, NZD JPY, AED JPY, USD JPY, that is not the same case. Their losses never make up, or their wins never make up for their losses. Their losses are always bigger. Whereas EJ, it tends to handle it on that side. Brandon Thompson said, what settings mode are you running on the $1,500 account you showed? That account was running 6 max pairs on a $1,500 swing account, which is highly aggressive. So I wouldn't recommend anything over 3 to 4 max pairs ever. 5 to 6 is just really, really more on the risky side. David D, if you have a buy and a sell in the same sequence, can you manually close all the buys or all the sells, or should you have to close both out? He said, I've only really seen this with intraday. We just want to know. No, you can only close one side out. That's perfectly fine. Yes, but you don't close just one trade in a sequence. So when I say close out all the trades in the pair, I mean in the sequence. Yes, you're correct, David. Great question. Carmen said, if switching Einstein trades to GearBox, which strategy do we use? Well, Carmen, if you want to run the same way you were running in Einstein, you would run the same pairs and use the instant entry strategy. If you want to use strategies similar to that, you could also look at skip a level. If you want to use GearBox for what GearBox really was designed to do, which is to get precise entries, then you would probably want to come over from Einstein and use precision modes. JC Lax, I'm in Euro JPY level 2. It's been over a couple hundred pips. It's not placed another trade. Any reason this could happen? You would probably want to look at your VPS, brother. Make sure that everything's okay with your account. That would be my best advice. If you look at something and you see it should take a trade and it hasn't, I would say to look at your VPS and make sure that things are properly going, because your VPS could have been turned off, your MT4 terminal could have crashed, closed down. There's definitely things that can happen. So I would take a look. Michael, good morning. Dumb question. I made a couple changes yesterday and started everything up again. Is there a way to confirm which strategy I chose? Not really an easy way. The easiest way to determine it would be to just go to the GearBox managers chart here and then go look at the settings on the currency pairs that you have and see which ones match up. And it'll tell you if you chose swing sniper or super sniper. Linda said, which strategy is more aggressive? I wouldn't say that the strategies are more aggressive. If you're running the same settings on both strategies, I would not say one's more aggressive than the other, Linda. I would say that swing has more exposure to the market than sniper as you're getting into trade sooner. Christopher Costello, I forgot to ask this yesterday. Does instant entry or skip a level use a trailing stop that Alexander Einstein used to have? Yes, Christopher, level 0 and 1 have trailing stop losses, but only level 0 and 1, which you will only see in intraday modes, not in precision modes. I am not seeing too many more questions here, so I'm going to move back on to ranning. Let's get into it. Let me pull up another VPS here. All right. So this is one of my live accounts here that we have running. And, like I mentioned, pretty normal drawdown. We're in 11%, a little higher than I like, but we are also in correlated pairs, right? So the correlation filter is definitely going to be a huge blessing to minimizing possible drawdown in situations to where you typically will be taking as long of swigs, as large of swigs for as long of a period of time. Brandon said, could you please explain the swing strategy? Well, it's the same as any precision strategy and gearbox strategy in general, which if you haven't watched the gearbox strategy overview video inside your AP Academy, I would definitely get inside to the AP Academy because it explains the gearbox strategy in general, which really explains every strategy. But the swing strategy is just every box highlighted blue here. This would be where you would actually get your entries into the market, on those blue entries for each currency pair. This would be where you would enter based on swing settings for different currency pairs, is these blue boxes. Do you have any analysis on USD CAD from anonymous attendee? I gave an analysis last week around the same time, and I'll tell you what I saw. I saw exactly, and I called exactly what I thought was going to happen, which I did this on my intraday and my precision call last week. We pulled up this chart, and what I saw is the same thing that I'm seeing now. We're continuing to test this huge support line. So if we zoom out on time a lot, so I've currently just zoomed out on time, and we take a look right here. This is a major support zone, support resistance zone, whatever you want to call it. But this zone, we can see when we come in tighter back on the time frame, we had a bounce and it just dropped back and retested it. So right now, my analysis is if this holds, USD CAD's going bullish. If this doesn't hold, who knows what we're in for. But the reality is it should hold. But it's a major zone, a major zone that goes all the way back here to 2014. If I want to enter a trade prior to the next gear entry, can I do so? And will the next gear entry adjust? I know you have to enter a now setting coming, but in the meantime, can we manually and GearBox adapts? No, Max, you can't manually take it and then GearBox adapt. That won't work. You'll just need to wait for the enter now button. Nohelia, I have a 6K count with 2 pairs, CHF, JPY, AD CAD. Would you recommend to have the rest of the pairs added and keep my settings on the 3 pairs trading max, or close the first 2 pairs? No, Nahelia, you could go ahead and apply all the pairs you want to use on the sniper strategy, and including the CHF, JPY, AUD CAD. You could run max pairs trading 3 at the same time, and once those 2 trades that you're in, or the 2 pairs you're in, close, it'll also be able to open more pairs with sniper settings, but at least now it can open 1 pair. Brandon, well, you can see what it's looking for to enter. It's really simple. It's all based on math. So it's ghost gears. It's really a simple understanding and process. So in this case, GBP AUD, if we look at the chart, had a big move here, right? A few hundred pips. In this case, I'm looking for entries on GBP NZD after Wednesday at level 6. So technically my max gears are deployed, or my max pairs are deployed right now, but GBP AUD is super close to a sniper entry right now, right? Taking a sell 6 trade, in which case we'd be taking a sell here. So you might be saying, well, why is it taking that sell? Well, it's simple. There was a huge pump up with no retracement, and GearBox is really just looking for large moves with no retracement to catch the end of a trend and catch a reversal. That's really all GearBox is looking to do. And then when it comes to catching pips, it's looking for larger moves in the market, depending on, what pair you're trading. It's looking for large pairs. I mean, these trades I've had open since 4/27, so almost a month myself. And yeah, sometimes that happens. You get in trades for a month and you have to wait for them to play out and swing, because once they swing, you make your month's profit. So in this case, I expect to make all my monthly profit off of these 3 pairs that I've been stuck in for a few weeks. That's the fair name of the game. That's a good software. If you can consistently every month just take care of your money and grow your profit, why not? But that's what it's looking for. So it's looking for larger movements based on your gear entries, looking to catch the end of a movement, the end of a trend, and then catch the reversal. That's what GearBox is looking to do in precision modes. And then when it comes to the take profit, it's really simple. You can see the take profit. It's visual. You can see how long you're looking to catch and how many pips you're looking to go for. Is there a video that shows each individual setting and its purpose? Yep, Jake, there's a actual individual video for each individual setting that explains each individual setting in its entirety, and that's in the EA Academy. So make sure you get into the EA Academy, Jake. Do you have any data sharing what average amount of pips take profit achieves? Real trades only takes 30. Double TP takes 60. Ghost plus real takes the difference in what it would have taken to get out of the ghost trade drawdown and the real trade drawdown. All right, let's get into Forex Factory. All right. So when we come over here to Forex Factory, we take a look at the upcoming week ahead. We do see that there is some USD red folders that were happening today. But when we get into the next week ahead, there is nothing going on. We have AUD, some unemployment change, and we have some Euro German flash manufacturing PMI statements. But for the most part, this is a very, very calm week. There's not a lot of news. Very little red folder news, a lot of yellow and a lot of orange folder news, but the red folder news is to the minimal. What this would mean for me is that this will be a great week to use swing settings instead of say sniper to secure some entries. And intraday mode should also really have a great week, being that there is not a lot of volatility. So precision modes are really designed to be able to handle big volatility and news and benefit from it. Whereas intraday modes are really designed to capitalize on more consolidated markets or markets where things aren't moving as much, which this week looks like a great one as well for those intraday. But remember, if you're using intraday modes, please only be using them on a second account or license. What makes GearBox so special is the precision mode. So you should always have a precision mode running in, get a second license if you want to use intraday modes. But on precision side, you can switch between sniper and super sniper and swing mode. Depending on the week in the news, in which case this does look like a great week as well for swing, just based on the fact there's not a lot of volatility either. Let me check the Q&A and questions here. I'm having a no connection issue on VPS. I signed out and back, and is this fixed for others? Is there any trick I could use? Mackenzie, the no connection issue has to do with your broker. So I'm not sure what broker you're using, but I would put a support ticket in and also get with your broker. No, Julia, I'd say Ghost plus Real. I mean, I'm a Ghost plus Real guy myself. I love it, but some people like double TP board too. As for real trades only, I'm not a big fan of real trades only. I mean, it's such a small take profit on real trades only. It's good, but the take profit's just a little small for my liking. I'm not seeing any more questions for this morning, so let me take a look. Dovia, you're not understanding the take profit setting is ghost plus real for the take profit. It has nothing to do with where the ghost trades enter. But that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in, spending a little bit of time with me on this wonderful Friday. I look forward to amazing trading week ahead. I'm going to keep you guys posted on our correlation filter updates and status. No, it is coming. I just gave you guys the visuals. We're just fixing a little intricacy on the IT side to make it functional for the entire population of everyone who's been using GearBox since it released in October, or well, I guess in November, we actually released it. But with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.